guys, DarkAvengerINC here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome again back to another comic review. I hope it's not too bright. It's still very bright in my room, but I'm here to deliver my comic review for the week of September 4th. That's when the first books of September. Now remember, guys, like I said, I did not pick up any of the Villains Month books. Didn't pick up Forever Evil. I read that in store. I gave my in-depth review to it already. Check it out if you haven't. It's right on this channel. Like I said, it was okay. I wasn't overall special. The biggest thing to me, like I said, that happened was what involved Nightwing. That's just me. Everybody else is entitled to their opinion, but it was me. It was just, yeah. But I did pick up some books, of course, very small this time around. Sometimes you're gonna get that from me. Not all the time. I'm gonna pick up a lot of things. Like I guess some people are kind of aware of me doing, but still, I thought it was a very good week. For the first month of September of 2013 for comics. So before I get into the reviews of my books, I want to review a special. If you read the title, there's a special. Basically, I wanted to give my review for a book of a friend of mine, known as Alex Bream, aka Movie Geek. He's also a member of my team, the YouTubers Core. And he put out his first issue of his comic, and he's going to the Cincinnati Comic-Con to present his book and everything like that. And I told him I would review it, and so here I am to review it. And that book is called Fight or Flight. I'm about to get them mixed up. I apologize. And this is the first issue of his title. Now, you can buy this in print or digital. All the information that you want about this title is in the description. I want to support Alex. He sent me this this week, and I read it. This was good. This was very, very entertaining. I really enjoyed what I got from this. This story. My friend Alex does the writing. He's the writer. The artwork was really good as well. It wasn't bad. It wasn't too etchy or sketchy. It was very tolerable and unique in a sense as well. The basis of the story is this team right here is kind of a government-sanctioned team in a sense. And we see them all with different types of abilities. For example, there's one that has like electrical powers, one who's like a speedster of the team. This character right here, he's kind of like the jokester, like that's the Johnny Storm-esque Iceman, like the class clown of the group, that kind of doesn't take everything too seriously, and he kind of comes up with code names for a lot of the teammates, including this character right here. He called her the Blur, and she's like, "Don't call me that." I thought that was really funny. And there's a character here called Eva, who is like a walking Chernobyl bomb. She can blow herself up, and there's kind of a lot of ramifications with her powers. That she's not really in control of her powers. And that was really like, okay, that's interesting. Like, they have to give her certain drugs to kind of control her abilities. I like the field leader of the group. He's kind of like a mixture. I mixed him up kind of like a little bit of Cap mixed with Doc Samson and other characters. I was just like, okay, he comes off like a those characters. But out of all of them, my favorite has to be Achilles. This character right here, who looks like he's wearing an Oni mask. He was really interesting because in the battlefield, he's really to the point where he's like a samurai-esque character that fights with honor and respect. When, you know, him and this character right here, they don't really like each other, even though they're part of the team. And he's kind of like the psycho-esque character. Like he doesn't care. Kick them while they're down. Don't kick them while their back is turned and everything like that. But Achilles here is more of the honorable. Like, they're down, they surrender, leave them be. But we see that with these two characters. But I really enjoyed Achilles, his morals of, like, he doesn't cross that boundary of, you know, killing innocent soldiers, or, you know, soldiers that are the enemy, but if they surrender, you know, just let them be. But a very good start to this book. I really enjoyed this, Alex. Thank you for sending this to me. You have my support on this. Whenever you continue to this story and move on to, you just know that I will be supporting you, and I will buy this. I will buy this, and I hope for everybody else who watches my review will support my friend. He's a good friend, even though he's far away from me, but he still is a good friend. And support his book, Fight or Flight. Like I said, once again, all the information is in the description. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. You will really like this book as much as I did. And you know how I feel about team books. You know, I do a lot of fan fiction, team stuff, and this is really good, Alex. Very good. So all the people who worked on this book, much love and respect to you guys. Did such a good job. Freshman Studios. So that's my idea for Fight or Flight. And I'm about to get that name mixed up again, but Fight or Flight. Check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. How long was that? That was 7 minutes. Damn, not bad. Good. Alright. So now we'll move on to the books that I picked up. So now that we're in the month of September, we're going to go DC independent and end with Marvel. So let's kick it off with DC, the only DC book I did pick up. And that is none other than DC Universe versus Masters of the Universe, issue number 1, Clash of the Champions. Keith Giffen does the writing on this, and Dexter Soy is the artist. I kind of wanted the He-Man cover instead of the the Justice League cover, but it's cool. This issue starts off very good. It gets you in depth. Mr. Giffen gets us really in depth into what's going on. It kind of feels like we get a little bit of a aftermath of what's going to happen sometime in the book that he's also writing, the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. But in the meantime, in the beginning, we see we're on Earth in New York City, Greenwich Village, and we see a woman running away from these demonic rats. Pretty much, they got like, they're rats, but they're missing skull. They only see is their skulls glowing bright. So you kind of like sense like like they're explosive as well. And she makes it to what seems to be where she needs to get to. And then we turn back to what's going on in Eternia, and we see He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and Stratos basically strategizing on their next move against Hordak's forces or so. And they come into contact with ambushing this caravan, and when they're able to, they want to get one of these mech characters intact, and unfortunately it doesn't go according to plan because but they're able to take the cargo that these mechs were carrying, and inside the cargo is none other than Evil Lynn. And we start to see, so they're like, okay, what is she doing in there, and what's going on? And it keeps going back and forth between Eternia and Earth. And on Earth, we see once again we see Skeletor is on Earth. He's alive, and he's on Earth, and he's gathering information on Earth by someone who's kind of, in a sense, like on his side. In terms of the female that I talked about, she makes contact with John Constantine, and she's telling him about Skeletor is on Earth and everything like that. You need to do what you need to do, and Constantine is all like, yo, whatever, like, I'm not impressed, like, get out of here. Skeletor, on the other hand, is gathering information. Okay, what are the threats and danger here on Earth? And this individual, I'm forgetting her name, but she's like a goth-like chick. He's in Salem, Massachusetts, and she's telling him about who you got to watch out for here on Earth. She's like, the heroes here, they dress up in different costumes and everything like that, and they're called the Justice League. And she's telling them, and you know, Skeletor is looking at. First of all, Skeletor looks fierce. He looks way different now, but he looks fierce. And he's basically like, you know, who are there any like sorcerers, mages on it? She's telling him, yeah, there's a few, but not on the Justice League at the moment. And she even talks about Green Lantern used to be a part of the team, but he left and everything like that. And he's planning out what to do. And then what really is cool about how Skeletor knows about John Constantine, because he's like a myth. And it was like, okay, wow, Skeletor knows about John Constantine. And we find out who the blonde female is who's talking to John Constantine, and we find out that she is Marlena, wife of Randor and warrior queen of Eternia. He-Man's mother is on Earth, and she just flings Constantine like, you know, show me some respect and everything like that. And in the meantime, back on Eternia, He-Man and Teela are still talking with Evelyn about what's going on, what's the play, what's everything like that. And she's telling them all about the connection between Earth and Eternia, and especially between the bloodline of He-Man and what's going on. And unfortunately, He-Man and them get whisked away from Eternia to Earth right there, and it ends pretty much on a cliffhanger of mom and son meeting up. Adam? Mom? You know, it's just like, and you got Constantine just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. It ended really well, but this was a really good setup. Very good. So far, and I was glad it didn't just set up right where the heroes and the pretty much the warriors of the masters of the universe collide. But like I said, Skeletor is setting his play, and we just got to see where it's going to go from there. But I really enjoyed this very much. You know me, guys, I'm a fan of Masters of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. I can't deny that. But very good indeed. Number one of DC Universe versus Masters of the Universe. Alright, so we move on to Dynamite. And got two Dynamite books, you guys, and we'll start it off with Brian Buccello and Ronan Click's Black Bat, number 5. First of all, that cover by Billy Tan is just superb. Get a look at that. This issue picks up right where the last issue left off. Basically, how could I put it? Tony Quinn, the Black Bat, he is rescued by the people that has given him new eyes and all the resources he needs to fight crime. And in the last issue, he was helped out by another character that works for this organization called the Brute. He's this big cybernetic dude, and he doesn't really like him. He always is like, this guy's a maniac, he's a killer, everything like that. And he's complaining to the people like, you brought in the Brute to save me and everything like that. And it kind of gets a little bit in depth into that. And we have a little fight between, you know, Tony and the Brute. You know, it's like, you know, I don't need your help, you know, things like that, and they kind of go at it. I mean, they're tossing around dumbbells at each other, and it's like, oh shoot. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we find out that the people, they are able to shut down Tony's eyes, his new eyes. Like they can shut it down. Like they just hit this button. Well, they hit it for both of them, and they shut down the Brute's cybernetic body and Tony's eyes. So he was like, oh, I can't see my eyes. He couldn't see, and there's kind of like, you know, we control your enhancements and everything like that. And in the meantime, it's still about a quest to find the missing police officers and, you know, stop this coup that's happening for Tony. You know, Tony's still trying to figure out where a lot of the crime syndicate that he's looking for are, and he has to trust the Brute. Him and the Brute go into action together, and Tony's not really happy about it. He's like, I know this guy. This guy's nothing but a psychopath. He's gonna betray me. He's everything like that. And we also see the police officer who is Detective Meza, who was in the last issue with Black Bat. She's trying to find some people that Black Bat has saved over the years, and she wants to make contact with him. So there are different stories going on in this, but once again, it ends on a major cliffhanger, and it's almost like, okay, clock's ticking, and it's really like, okay, what is Black Bat going to do? How is he going to stop this from happening? But once again, Mr. Buccello just does a very good job with this story. I've been loving what's been going on with Black Bat. Dynamite just keeps delivering on all tables with pulp characters, bringing them back into the modern era, or not, but still just getting new readers who are not familiar with these characters, and you're doing such a good job with it. Always, as I said before, you know, Dynamite is one of my favorite independent companies. I love what Dynamite does with the pulp characters. If they keep them in there, the years that they were really popular, fine. Like they do with the Shadow, he's still in the 1930ish, 40ish era. What they're doing with Black Bat, the Spider, people like that, good stuff. So we move on to the Owl, part 3 of 4. This one more issue to go. This was good too. J.T. Krull does the writing, and I loved Herbert Kahn Michael's artwork in this. Was really good. And in this, basically, the Owl is still trying to cope with what's going on with Owl Girl, this character right here. Owl Girl was once his partner and lover from the old days, but now this Owl Girl is the granddaughter of the former Owl Girl, and she kind of takes stuff to the extreme. She's willing to hurt people and break legs and even kill. And Tony is really in the cuff. I mean, not Tony. Excuse me. The Owl is still on the cuffs of, like, I have to stop her. You know, I have to kind of showcase to her that you're crossing the line. Don't become what you don't want to become. Don't cross that line. You know, in a sense of like Batman. You know, he doesn't kill, but she kind of crosses that line, and no matter what, he's still trying to explain to her, like, you cross that line, there's no turning back. And he even tells her about the time where her grandmother nearly got beat to death as Owl Girl by a villain. What was the name of the villain? The mob boss that nearly beat her to death. Let me see, what is her name? His name was Teddy Winston. And after he nearly beat the original Owl Girl to death, he came in and he basically was in almost a berserk rage, and he nearly killed this guy. And if it wasn't for her grandmother to stop him, he would have killed him. And he's telling her, the Owl Girl, this, and it's just like, it's almost not registering with her, because in her mind it's like, that was the old days, this is the new time, you know, it's kill or be killed now, and these people, they won't show any mercy, so why should I? And once again, but the way Mr. Cruel tells it is spot on perfect, in my opinion. We also get some more that, because of the consequences that she's taking, this Owl Girl, the modern day Owl Girl, more villains, more people are coming out of the woodwork, including this assassin. I'll show you what he looks like. Where is he? His name. Here it is. If you could see that right there, his name is Armstrong. That's just his name, and she tries to, kill. She's trying to kill Owl Girl, and it's at the end of the issue where, once again, it looks like there might be, once again, for the final conclusion of this miniseries, a confrontation between the Owl and the modern day Owl Girl, because she, once again, is crossing that line, and it's really sad. And he doesn't want to do it, but he might have to do it. So I can't wait till they finish off this miniseries. Really good. I do recommend picking this up. You probably still can find it, but the Owl, really good. All right, let's move on to Marvel. All right, got 6 Marvel books for you guys. Let's kick it off with X-Men Battle of the Atom. This is chapter 1. Bendis does writing, and Frank Cho is on the artwork. Always like Frank Cho's artwork. This was more, I was wondering what this event was going to be, but first of all, I like to say I'm glad that it's just in the X-Men books. It's going to be in all the X-Men books except for X-Men Legacy. Once again, I guess, X-Men Legacy is just, it's in its own world. And once again, no, I don't read X-Men. I'm not a big fan of Legion. I really wasn't a big fan of his. But in this story, we get a lot of in-depth. In the beginning, it kind of segues that Ileana, she goes to the future. I'm going to spoil that. But in the process, she sees what goes on in the future. Now, lo and behold, Professor Kitty Pryde, they get an alert from Cerebro that a new mutant is popped up, and she is causing havoc in, where was she again? Phoenix, Arizona, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, Phoenix. And this woman looks a little bit like Zelek from the Wildcats, but she's able to, I guess, conjure up these dinosaur-esque, dinosaurs, and Professor Kitty and them come down. I love that this was just so beautiful. Frank Cho does a good job. I mean, it's so cool because look at Kitty. She's wielding her katana. It's been a long time since I've seen her wield her katana. You forget that Kitty is a good hand-to-hand combat and swordswoman as well. And they come down. They keep the citizens of Phoenix safe from this kind of crazed mutant. Jean goes inside her head and tries to see what is this girl's problem. And there's some issues in there, very much issues, and she kind of spreads it out to everybody else what's going on. But lo and behold, Sentinels arrive on the scene, and there's, all of a sudden it's a whole new ball game, and Cyclops gets hit and nearly wounded, and the uncanny side of the X-Men Cyclops team comes out and helps out, and it was kind of good to see that. I mean, there seems to be no kind of hard feelings between Kitty and Cyclops, because they're like, she's like, oh, thank you, Mr. Summers, and everything. I'm like, I would have thought there would still be some bad blood, but it seems not, and they help out. Unfortunately, Cyclops, young Cyclops, gets something bad happens to him, and it affects older Cyclops, and then something else happens in there. But it was really interesting, and then to the conclusion, it starts to realize that maybe, Logan and all of them are saying maybe it's time we have to send you back. It's too dangerous. You nearly got yourself killed, and in the process, because of you dying, your future self nearly died. And the younger X-Men are like, don't we get a say in this and everything like that? And it's like, we're sorry, we have to send you back. And this sets up really nicely, really good, to the point where they seem like they're going to, get ready to send them back to, the portal, and all of a sudden the cube opens up and pops out what looks to be, well, I'll just show you them. And they just say, we don't know. It concludes right there, and then it continues into the next issue. But the first chapter of Battle of the Atom was really good. Sets up really nicely. Then we move on to chapter 2 of All New X-Men number 16, and it picks up right where that leaves off. We find out that this is a future X-Men, but also we find out what's going on with Cyclops' team, and Magneto's explaining, that Sentinels are there, and the Cuckoos are saying that it's the government, S.H.I.E.L.D's doing this. We don't know who keeps sending these Sentinels, but one of the characters by the name of Christopher, he was the one that was supposed to have brought Cyclops back to life, and he's kind of contemplating on life as an X-Men. Now, in terms of what's going on with the future X-Men, they come, and Wolverine's like, okay, Kitty's like, okay, everybody stay calm, what's going on, who are you, and everything like that. And we see this bald-headed guy take his hood off, and he says, my name is Xavier. You knew my grandfather. He looks just like Charles Xavier, same bald head, the same archy eyebrows and everything. And he's like, the day you decided to let the original X-Men live here in your time turns out to be a disastrous mistake. And we see that future Beast almost seems to have mutated further. Like, he's got horns now and everything like that. He's got a longer tail. He looks more demonic in a sense. And they're just like, okay, who are you? Wolverine's like, okay, so you're Chuck's grandson. Yes, sir. And he's like, and you would be old as dirt, Hank McCoy. That's what he talks about the future. And you got both young Hank and present Hank, like, fascinating. And he's just like, and you're Kitty Pryde, all grown up. And she's like, Wolverine, and he's sniffing her too, so he's getting their scent. So he's like, yeah, and they just hug, and Kitty's just like, oh, oy vey. She says, typical Jewish oy vey, like, remind me to use moisturizer and things like that. And then all of a sudden, another guy kisses Warren. He's like, get off of me, and he finds out, okay, that's definitely Deadpool. So Deadpool is actually a part of this team, and then he goes to this big girl, and he's like, okay, that's Deadpool, who are you? And she towers over Wolverine, and she's like, my name is Molly Hayes. And I was like, oh snap, I can't believe Molly Hayes is a part of it. And he's like, I still don't know you. And he's like, she says, when I was a kid, I used to run with the Runaways. Now she's all grown up. We've met like 6 times, and it's really funny. And then young Bobby is like, okay, and this big giant lummox steroid freak, is that me? And so it's like really interesting. Like, Iceman, the future Iceman is really funny. And he doesn't talk. He just goes, he don't speak. And it gets really in depth from there, because it starts to get to the point where they're still like, they have to go back. And all of a sudden, Shink something happens to Wolverine. There's an impromptu fight. Something else happens, and we start to see what happened. They realize that it was young Jean, because once they came in, she started trying to read their minds once again. Not respecting. Young Jean is she's stubborn. She's becoming really stubborn. She just goes in somebody's head, and unfortunately, their minds were blocked. So they're like, okay, why would their minds be blocked? What are they not telling us? And her and Cyclops run away. They take a Blackbird and they fly away. From there, it gets really in depth. And in the meantime, when Wolverine gets a hold of himself, he even says, like, what happened? And where are they? What's going on? Things like that. Finally, Rachel Gray comes into the picture. And the character, even he turns to Xavier's grandson. He's like, okay, what's going on? He's like, they wouldn't know because we blocked everybody's mind. And Wolverine's like, okay, and why would you do that? Like, almost like, what are you hiding? And that's the same thing once Rachel enters the fold. She's saying the same thing. But not only just because of that, because one of the individuals is wearing the Zorn costume mask. The same character, Zorn, at one point was Magneto in disguise, and he killed her mother at one point. And then we find out who is underneath this mask. Not going to spoil who that is, but it was just like, oh, shocker, dun dun dun, and it just ends right there. But it does make you wonder, what are they hiding? Why are they hiding this stuff? But as always, this was just good writing from Bendis. And Monet's artwork was really good. This is Battle of the Atom Chapter 2. The next chapter comes out next week, actually. It's going to be an X-Men. But yes, good stuff. Really good stuff. Alright. And we turn to Infinity Part 2 of 6. Hickman, solid, just great building up writing. And we have Dustin Weaver, who I love. I love his artwork. And Jerome Opina, they share artwork. Now, I'm hearing a lot of people dog on Infinity, and I don't see why. Things I've heard on Twitter is the same. It's not enough action. I'm like, yo, this is Hickman. Hickman builds up properly. He doesn't shove a lot of action down our throats and then tank at the conclusion like certain writers. So he's building up fine, and I'm loving the pace of this story, the pace of what's Thanos' real goal, and I'm loving this. The writing in this was so good, so epic, especially between what's going on with the Inhumans. Oh my God, what's going on with the Inhumans was just really good, and really just solid writing from Hickman. We see the Avengers and Gladiator and the rest of the Shi'ar handling the Armada of the Builders and everything like that, and they're having their own sorts of victories, and that's cool. But it's really the what's going on with the Inhumans and the Illuminati that really is great. Even to the point where the Illuminati, Black Bolt summons the Illuminati, and they're in this pocket dimension. And they're all like, why'd you summon us here? Black Bolt, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, once again, Black Bolt starts talking. He's talking. And Reed Richards is like, you're speaking and nothing's happening. What's going on? And he goes on to tell them about, we're in this pocket reality where sound is reduced so much that it even neutralizes his voice so he can talk to them. And he tells them about what happened, what Thanos has done. He sent one of his emissaries to deliver a message to Attilan that if the Mad Titan demands tribute, and he says basically the emissary says to deliver at least every Inhuman between the ages of 16 and 22, and he wants and he wants them basically, and he wants to cut their heads off as tribute. However, that's not the real reason why what the tribute is for, and Thanos knows it. I mean, Black Bolt knows it. He even gives the rest of the Illuminati he gives them a record of hidden archives of the Inhuman queens and kings, and it's in there what you'll find. It's in there what Thanos is really after. It's not the Infinity Gems, it's something else. And I won't spoil what it is Thanos is looking for on Earth, why he's forwarding towards Earth. But it threw me for a loop, and I was like, I thought this man did away with all of that, but it ended really well. It ended on a cliffhanger, another cliffhanger, but just got you so invested that just solid writing from Hickman. I loved it so much. We got 4 more issues to go for this miniseries, and all I can say is, Hickman, keep up the good work. For all those who dropped this series, I'm not hating on it, but I think you dropped it way too fast, just because the pacing is slow. It's building up very well, in my opinion. So we move on to Superior Spider-Man number 17. Dan Slott, Ryan Stegman. Here it is, the first appearance of Miguel O'Hare. Once again, now I used to read Spider-Man 2099. I like the 2099 universe. That would be a universe I would love to see Marvel bring back. Showcase Spider-Man, the X-Men, Punisher, Black Panther, the Inhumans, people like that. I'd love to see them bring back that. But in this, basically, there's a paradox. We first are in 2099, and pretty much Miguel O'Hare is seeing that things are all out of place. You got 1920 biplanes coming through, Tyrannosaurus Rexes coming out of nowhere, and he's like, okay, what's going on? So he goes to what he believes is the source, Alchemax, basically, who is one of his enemies in the world. And pretty much he's there trying to figure out what's going on. And their people are saying there's a paradox that's going on in the past. You have to go back. You have to go back. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, it's not my problem, really. And he's like, they show him the portal like he's already been there to the year 2013. So he's like, okay, I gotta go back. In the year 2013, we see the Horizon having some kind of company baseball game. Ock is really showing off, as himself, like cracking baseballs out, home runs like crazy, and he's just like, yeah, and the crowd goes wild. He even says gold, and they're like, you mean home run? Oh yeah, that too, and things like that. In the meantime, what happens is Max Modell gets arrested, and after that we see that Liz Allen takes over all the shares and is now the shareholder of Horizon. But Ock really feels that something is afoot and something's going on. Max would never do what they are accusing him of doing, so it's more of a point of, okay, I have to find out what it is. In the meantime, we get a little bit of segue of what's going on with Gobby, Green Goblin, and the Goblin Knight, aka Phil Urich, is getting impatient, and Gobby sets him straight, like, you fool, like, you impatient little brat, and he's just beating him out, and like, it's because of you that we have to be like this and everything like that. And it ends pretty much with Spider-Man coming in contact with Liz. I should say Ock coming in contact with Liz again, and he confronts the person that is with Liz Allen, and he's like, you can't touch me, Spider-Man, everything like that. And he's like, Ock's like, oh, we'll see about that. And then he gets a webs his hand. He's like, who dares? And then we see a confrontation between Spider-Man of Tomorrow and Ock, basically. Yeah, I won't call him Spider-Man, guys. I'm sorry. We see what's going to happen there. But it was a good setup. It was good to see Miguel O'Hare. If you're not familiar about Miguel O'Hare, that's what the internet is for. Research him, and then you'll get to know a little bit about him. Things like that. Where he got his powers, everything like that. Who's he connected to? But other than that, it was fine. Good setup. Can't wait to see what goes on. Superior Spider-Man number 17. Yeah. Alright. And we move on to Venom 40. Two more issues. I think 2 more issues to go before this ends. And I think what I think is going to happen, once again, like I said, is this is going to become a duo. So I've been calling 80 Venom Girl. I thought it would be a better name for it, but we find out she finally gets a name in there. She calls herself Mania. Kinda, I didn't like that name, but Bun sets up something that has been going, which I really wish it didn't go back to. This is setting up something. Flash wants to know how he did this to Andy, basically. He just wanted to protect her, and he cocooned her in would it be like a symbiote protection, and it would usually come back. But unfortunately it didn't, and she's kind of embraced it, but it's also changing her, getting her more aggressive. Even though, I can understand the fact that she's angry about her father dying, I get that, but her level of anger is getting extremely high, and it's almost like the symbiote's taking over. And Flash gets a call from one of his allies, the what's her name? What's her name? What's her name? Katie Current, and she shows him the body of what looks to be Damian Hellstrom, the son of Satan. And he's like, no, that can't be possible. He's in jail. I got him in jail. He's in prison. We see the symbol of the hell, is missing from his chest, and things like that. A lot of stuff is going on. And while he's in Austin, Texas, 80 Mania is still in Philly, and she's just on the trail of Lord Ogre. She's going to kill him. She wants to kill him. And so she disobeyed Flash by laying low for a while, which you figure she's a teenager, they're a little rebellious. And it gets a little bit more in depth in there, but we find out when Flash pretty much confronts Hellstrom at the prison that he's at. He's like, explain to me what's going on. You said I was, that I was chosen by one of the Hell Lords, with the marking that he saw, and pretty much Hellstrom's like, I'm looking right at you with my devil eyes, Agent Venom, and I don't see the marking. So right there, it's like, oh my God. Wait a minute. Whoa, hold the phone. Hey, and then we finally get to see where the marking is, and I'm not going to spoil where it is, but then it makes a little bit of sense now, and why Flash can't bring that portion of the symbiote back to him. So it kind of gives you a sense, and Mania is being, we find out who has been killing these people and ripping off their brands, skinning their brands and everything. Not going to spoil who that is, but hopefully it sets up well, and it's not too much of the hellfire and stuff, because Venom's not supposed to be in that. But yeah. And last but not least, this is it. X Factor 262 chapters, part 6 of 6. That's a very nice cover. You got Multiple Man. Sorry, we're closed. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys, but I will tell you this. It ends on a happy note. Very happy note. Peter David, I tip my hat to you, sir. You, over 10 years on this title. Never was disappointed with this title. Very good work. I can't wait to see what you have, what other stuff you have, projects you have for Marvel, like I said before. I'm glad to see you're getting well every day from your stroke. That's great. But in the meantime, we have Layla Miller, who knows all the stuff. They're on Jamie's family's farm, and she's looking at something, and it's kind of positive, and there's a certain thing she's looking at, and it turns positive. Get where I'm coming from? Yes, Layla is pregnant. She's pregnant, and who's the father? Multiple Man. The only thing is that he's still in that demonic form, and Layla is trying everything she can to try to get to James. She's got him locked down in a cellar, and he's just like, and she's like, Jamie, I brought you a peanut butter. He tries to attack her, and he literally breaks his shackles, come up from the cellar, and tries to attack her again. And it's to the point where Layla literally has to yell at Jamie, Jamie, I'm pregnant with your child, and he backs off. So it's almost like he's still there somehow, but he's not himself. And then we see the demonic Multiple Man, really, he's praying. And you start to wonder, okay, what he's praying to. Lo and behold, the police come and tell Layla that you're trespassing on private property. You have to get out. And she tell him, no, this is my husband's property. My name is Layla Murdoch. And Madrox, and cops are like this. And then there's this individual who is kind of like a men in black. Let's put it like that. He did look like a guy from MIB. He had the black suit, the shades, and he's got this technology that seems to be highly advanced. And it's so advanced that it's even deteriorating Layla's shield that she uses. And she's even saying, like, it's chattering my teeth. Who developed this shield? Reed Richards. She doesn't know. And unfortunately, we finally get to see who Madrox Jamie was praying to. That person does come, and it was a big surprise because I was like, yeah, I wonder what this character is doing. The last time we saw this specific character, it's a female, I will say that. And this certain female character comes, helps out, and we also get to see Jamie is back to normal with all his dupes. He makes dupes and stuff, and he's like, that's my wife, get off my property, everything like that. And it's a happy moment. And that's where we see Layla Jamie tells Layla, so I heard you were pregnant and everything like that, and I'm glad. And you got the dupe saying, congratulations, yeah, is it a girl or a boy, what you gonna name, and everything like that. And lo and behold, we also get to see once again Layla talking about that guy in the black suit, that he's just watching them, like almost like he keeps staring at them. So it's more it's like it kind of leaves you invested in the sense like, okay, Mr. David, okay, who's this guy in the black suit that you're setting up, that's been set up? And once again, it's like, oh man, I'm hoping they don't continue X Factor, because now it's like, who's this guy in the black suit? And the person that helped out is telling Jamie about what's going on with the other X Factor members, and Jamie's like, wow, Monet and Darwin, really? Wow, and everything like that. And she's like, the person is saying, okay, now that that's everybody, you know, and you know what's next. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm not gonna say who the person is. She's like, I mean, now that you know where all your teammates are, basically, you want me to bring them to you so you can gather them up, and so that X Factor can continue. And we see Jamie and Layla look at each other and smile, and they say, we're having a child. We got a child to raise. We got a farm. You know, we got a farm to get back on up and running, and the world to leave to others to save. You know, we're done. We're done. And that's how it ends. Now, once again, I'm not going to spoil who that person is that helped out, that Jamie was praying to. If you want me to spoil it, I will ask me in a personal message, because I won't spoil it here. But it was a big, like, I totally forgot about this character, in a sense. And it's a great character. But it ended on a happy note. And sometimes, that's all good. That was really good. So I'm glad X Factor ended on a happy note, guys. Thank you, Mr. David, for your diligence and your dedication to these characters and to X Factor. But now that it's over, one X-Men related book is off my list now. I'm hoping we see some of these characters again, like they don't just fall into that comic book void. You know, Monette is a powerhouse. She needs to be a part of another team or so. I would love to see Darwin. You know, Jamie and Layla, you know, let them be a family. Maybe show them once in a while and show them raising their kid and everything like that, but leave them out of it. I would love to see, you know, Wolvesbane again and all of them. But yeah, good stuff. X Factor 262. Okay, well, that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. Yeah, I kind of went over the limit. I didn't want to go to, but I wanted to explain a lot of stuff. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow me. You know where I am. Follow all my friends, Blue Goblin, FatStakeofComics, the Dark Avenger Inc. family, everybody. As well as, like I said, support my friend Alex. All the information is in the description below. Just open it up and you'll see all the info where you can buy Fight or Flight, digital or print. He has many copies, and you know he'll do what he can to get it out to you as soon as he can. The price is really steady. He sent me that for free, but paying for it it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's good. But other than that, guys, you guys take care. I'll see you guys next time, God willing, as always. And you guys know my slogan: peace and love. Stay tuned. Keep it real, guys, as always. Ta-ta for now. See ya.